Are you looking to buy a small mini battery chainsaw? Maybe you want to use it around the garden, maybe you want to cut up some pallets, or maybe the odd log. Well, today we are looking at 3 10 and 12 inch chainsaws. We are going to look at the cutting performance, their working weight, how easy they are to maintain, see what else you can run off the same battery system. We're Machinery Nation, let's crack on.
Tested by Machinery Nation.
The Greenworks GD24CS30 has a 12 inch 30 cm bar and a 3/8 by 1.3 mm chain, running on a 24 volt system and uses a brushless motor, has a toolless chain tensioner and with a chain speed of 7.8 meters per second. Today we are using a 4 amp hour battery and it has a recommended retail price of £185 with the battery and charger. The AL-KO CS1825 has a 10 inch 25 cm bar and is running a 3/8 by 1.1 mm chain. Running on an 18 volt platform, has a toolless chain tensioner and has a chain speed of 4.67 meters per second. We are running it on a 5 amp hour battery and it has a recommended retail price of £199, including the battery and charger. The STIHL MSA 120C has a 12 inch 30 cm bar and a 1/4 inch by 1.1 mm chain, running on a 36 volt system and uses a brushless motor, has toolless chain tensioning and has a chain speed of 14.8 meters per second. We're using a 4 amp hour battery and it has a recommended retail price of £318 with a battery and charger. Now for the working weight test. Yes, this is with the battery and full with oil, so it's the true weight you'll be carrying when using the saw. Right, Greenworks up first, pop that there, and we are looking at 3.5 kilograms. Now for the AL-KO, 3.5 kilograms. There's something going on here. And the STIHL, 4 kilograms. Right, next test. Right, so test number 2, we're going to do some cutting. We've got this branch which we're going to use to simulate pruning around the garden. It's not logs, just pruning. So nice and thin branch. Right, let's see how they get on. Right, test number 3 is cutting through some softwood. Yes, for all you pallet pirates out there who are going to use a chainsaw on pallets, this is the test for you. Right, let's do it again. 3 cuts each saw. Let's do it. Now time to put some real meat on the fire. Yeah, proper log. 8 inch bit of dry beech. Can they do it? Let's find out. So the most frustrating thing about owning a chainsaw is having to maintain it. Yes, you do have to maintain it, even battery saws. Compared to petrol, there is not as much to do, so that's the good news. So now we're going to look at how easy it is to take the bar and chain off and clean it and put it back on again and see which one is the easiest to do. Right, let's crack on. Right, so the Greenworks. First thing, take the battery out because you don't want to accidentally press any buttons and suddenly things start whizzing around. And with the Greenworks, all you have to do is press the back button and slide it out, nice and easy. Right, pop that to one side. And the other thing is you've got a chain brake on the front, which is your stop, which all chainsaws have. So you have the chainsaw there, and then you push that forward to put the brake on. You want to have the brake off to be able to take the chain and bar off. And then if you've got this on the side, so all three of these chainsaws have got toolless chain tensioning. And with this one, you pop out the little flap there, and then you've got full access to be able to undo the bar cover, and you can just literally undo that one until everything starts coming loose. And then if you just take the chain with one hand, and then you can unwind that and pop that off, nice and easy. And then with the bar and chain, we'll then just slide off the back like so. As we have just used it, there's a little bit of chainsaw dust in there. So while you're in there, best thing to do is clean it out. And if you do that regularly, you can just use a nice paintbrush just to go in and around and make sure everything's clear. Here you've got your oiling holes, that's where your oil comes out to be able to lubricate your bar. So that comes out there, so make sure that's all nice and clean. So to put it back on, if you take your bar and chain, if you've used it for a little while, you can flip the bar over. There isn't actually a right and a wrong way for the chainsaw bar to go. So make sure you can put the bar back on that way or that way. Just make sure that your chain is pointing in the right direction, which the chain, if you're looking at it from the top, the teeth need to be pointing away from you. So when that's on the top of the chainsaw bar like that, make sure the teeth, the sharp ends are away from you on the top. And that's the way you know it's the right way. So holding the bar and chain on there, tip the saw onto its back like so, and then you can slot the bar over, getting the chain to link in and around the sprocket, and then it will pop onto the chain tensioner there. You can have your cover, pop that back over, fits in there nice and easy, and screw that down. And then to get that tight on this saw, all you do is, you see the bar's sloppy there, and you see a little bit of movement. You can see there's a little bit of movement there in the bar, and you just tighten that up round, and that will tension the chain. At the moment, it's still not quite tight enough, so you keep turning that round until you're happy that that's at the desired level, and you just keep doing that, and it'll automatically tension the chain to the right tension. Go around a little bit more, and you should be able to pull the chain down at the bottom or pull it up from the top, and the chain should be able to flick back to being flat with the bar. If it's still droopy, it's not tight enough, and then when you let it go, it should ping back nice and tight, but you should be able to pull that down. So give that one more little squeeze around there. There we go. And that's the perfect tension for that chain. Right, onto the AL-KO. So it's exactly the same as the Greenworks. You've got this red knob screw, which you can then just undo like so. You undo that one until everything's nice and loose, and then putting the chainsaw onto its back, you can then undo that, holding the bar and chain in place until that comes off like so. Putting that to one side, you can then unslot your bar and chain, and again with a brush, give that a nice clean inside. If you do it every time, it doesn't take as long, nice and simple. Obviously, if you leave it a long time, that gets absolutely full up with rubbish. So the more you do it, the better it is. Right, so to put this one back together, take the bar and chain, making sure everything's all slotted into the slots, pop it over the sprocket on the back, so the little round thing at the back there, make sure the chain goes all the way around and locks in where it should do. Just make sure that's all in place. And then if you take your bar cover, on this one you've got a little notch at the back. So you've got a little tab just there on the back of the cover, which goes into the hole here on the back. So pop that on in there like so, slotting that down, and then you can screw the red screw down. And this is where it varies slightly from the Greenworks, because on this one, you then got this bar here, you twist that round to tension the chain. So twist that round to where you want it to be. Once you're happy with that tension, you can then do the red one up tight, and then you can release the tension slightly. So they are, so it stays tight by that locking there, but you've just released the pressure on the side of that bar. Nice. Right, onto the STIHL. So to pop the battery out on the STIHL, you've got a button on the back and you can just press that one and the battery will pop up out of its slot. Pop that to one side, pull your chain brake off, and then with this one you've got a flap that pulls out a bit like the Greenworks. You pull that one out there and then you can undo that one like so. Once I'm done, we'll come away. Slightly different setup in here on the STIHL. So you've got this black wheel and this is what tensions the chain. So this one going that way slackens it, going that way tensions it. And I'll show you how to do that from the outside in a second. But if you slacken that one off, you can then release the chain and bar. Give it all nice, good clean in here. And if we remove the chain from the bar on this one, you'll see this ring here, get in around there and clean all that off. So you can see that there now, how that wheel works up and down. So you spin it, it moves that way. If you spin it the other way, it moves that way. So you want to have that plate up that end to start with, not right back there because that's its full tension. So down there like so. And then if you change the bar, flip the bar over on this one so the STIHL's looking the other way, you just pop out this little screw on that side and then you can take that plate off and put it on that side. It's really, really important to change which way your bar goes because you then get even wear on your bar and your bars will last a lot longer. So let's pop that back on now. So again, have your chain, pop the chain back onto your bar, make sure it's slotted all in and around. Make sure your teeth are facing the right way, which if you're looking at the top of the bar from the saw, the sharp bit should be pointing away from you. So have that there, pop that onto the sprocket. The sprocket on this one's much smaller and much easier to get it over. So then you can move that around until that, so you slide that one up and down until that's there. The nice thing about this saw is you can actually move this and make this tight, so you can go a little bit more hands-free. So while holding the bar and chain in place, you can actually tension that before you put the cover on. And now I can leave that there completely hands-free, which is nice. So now I can pop that over the top on the cover and screw that down until it's nearly tight, not all the way. So once you've got your bar and everything in place and you're happy with the chain tension, if it needs tensioning, you've got the little black wheel here on the top. You can push it that way to tension the chain and pull it back to slacken the chain. But once you're happy with that chain tension, again, make sure you can pull that one down and it's being able to pull away from the bar, and if you let go it flicks back nice and straight, and then do that one up nice and tight, and then you can fold that one back down. So that's the basic maintenance of a battery chainsaw, and these three saws seem very easy to be able to do all three of them. But now let's look to see what their batteries can power. Let's see how big the ranges are. So maybe you already have batteries at home for other machines. Maybe it's power tools, maybe it's other garden equipment. And that is going to help you decide which saw to go for. But if you haven't, what can these battery platforms, what other products can you get with these batteries? And what can you power with them? And most brands now, you don't just buy one battery in a machine unless it's a really cheap knockoff. But the main manufacturers produce a range of equipment that all powers from the same platform. So right, let's check them out. So Greenworks provide lots of different battery platforms, but this is the 24-volt range. And from this very battery, you can power nearly 40 different tools. And not just garden tools, they also do a range of power tools which fit this platform. So drills, sanders, lights, radios, all different types. So it's definitely worth checking them out because there's a really big range available. So this is the AL-KO battery, but it isn't actually made by AL-KO. This is made by Bosch. So this battery here comes out of an AL-KO chainsaw, but you actually put it into a Bosch drill. Not just Bosch, but 10 other different brands, including Husqvarna, Gardena. There's loads of brands involved that will take this same battery. Over the next 12 months, I believe you're going to see a lot more from this battery system. So I think that's a great alliance. It's called the Power for All Alliance. So it's powering lots of different products. So I think that's a great option, but the list is endless of what you can power with that battery. So the STIHL range, this is the STIHL AK range. You also do an AP range, which is the biggest, more sort of rectangular battery. This is the little square AK battery. And the AK range is for sort of more domestic garden purposes. And they've got, at the moment, 14 different products you can power for this. As with STIHL, it's all very good quality, it's all very well made, and it's got a great range of equipment to be able to power from one system. So hopefully that has given you a good rundown of what you can actually do with these little saws. Yes, they're not going to do the same as a big petrol commercial grade saw. That's not what they're designed for. They are designed for exactly what we've just tested, and a little bit bigger stuff maybe now and again, but not predominantly. So I think hopefully that has helped you out in your decision of being able to buy a mini chainsaw, whether it's Greenworks, AL-KO, STIHL, or maybe something else. But this is what they are designed for, this is what they can do, and hopefully you can now see how easy they are to maintain, put the chain bars back on, do that sort of general maintenance that is needed. But we're Machinery Nation. Thank you very much for watching. Please like this video, share this video, and click subscribe. We'd really, really appreciate it. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.